Welcome back to the BookCast. Today we are unpacking every layer of the incredible novel, The Invisible Man. Get ready for a deep dive into its characters, themes, and the hidden meanings behind the story.
It's such a fantastic book. H.G. Wells really gifted us this gripping tale, didn't he?
He absolutely did.
Mm.
And it's one that, continues to spark conversations about what power truly means and maybe how quickly brilliance can curl into something monstrous.
Definitely. We're going to follow Griffin's incredible scientific journey, right? But also his chilling descent into madness.
And the chaotic path he carves through society. It's quite the ride.
It really is. It's remarkable how Wells, even back in 1897, understood that a seemingly fantastical premise could be a powerful lens to examine very real human anxieties.
Yeah.
The story pulls us in with its immediate mystery, but beneath that, it's a profound exploration of identity, freedom, and the corrosive nature of isolation.
That's precisely what makes it so enduring, I think. And that mystery, it truly kicks off the moment our peculiar protagonist steps foot into the quiet English countryside. Let's start there with Griffin's arrival in Iping. That event just instantly shatters the village's tranquility.
Wells sets the stage beautifully, doesn't he? You're plunged right into this harsh, unforgiving February day.
Yeah, bleach.
Bleak is the word. That kind of biting wind and, last gasp snowfall that isolates a small community, it immediately signals that something out of the ordinary, something perhaps even hostile, is about to disrupt this peaceful, sleepy setting.
The weather almost mirrors the character's cold, detached nature, doesn't it?
It really does. And disrupt it, he does, though subtly at first, maybe. The stranger, who we'll soon know as Griffin, he arrives from Bramblehurst railway station carrying only a small black traveling bag, a portmanteau they called it.
Right, almost absurdly mundane against the backdrop of his hidden reality.
Exactly. And he quickly takes up residence at the Coach and Horses Inn, run by the wonderfully observant Mrs. Hall.
Oh, Mrs. Hall, she's great.
She's our initial window into his strangeness, the quintessential innkeeper. His immediate insistence on covering himself up, even indoors with a brisk fire going. It instantly signals an extreme, almost desperate need for secrecy.
It's not just eccentricity, is it? It feels deeper.
Oh, absolutely. It's a profound declaration of his hidden state. His face is almost entirely obscured, large blue spectacles with sidelights, a bushy side whisker completely hiding his cheeks, and layers of bandages.
You only see his nose, right? That pink peaked nose.
Just the nose. It's a deliberately grotesque image, isn't it? And the thick black hair protruding in curious tails and horns from beneath the bandages. It gives him this truly bizarre, almost inhuman look.
It's such a striking image, it really sticks with you. And for Mrs. Hall, you can feel her polite curiosity quickly turn to, well, annoyance.
Yeah, her attempts at friendly conversation, a bit of hospitality. They're just met with abruptness and silence. You feel her growing frustration. But there's unease there, too, definitely.
And she gets these little glimpses, doesn't she? Sees a white object disappearing briefly.
Right. And later notices his eye sockets are extraordinarily hollow when his glasses are off for a second.
Tiny, unsettling cracks in his facade that hint at the incredible truth lurking beneath.
These fleeting moments are crucial for building suspense. Wells uses the villagers' reactions brilliantly to underscore how truly alien Griffin appears. Mr. Teddy Henfrey, the clock jobber, he's unnerved.
Right, just by the silent bandaged figure.
Yeah, and soon the entire village is rife with speculation. Is he a criminal? An anarchist?
There's that piebald theory too, right? Hiding his skin.
Exactly. Or maybe just a harmless lunatic. This collective uncertainty really amplifies the suspense. It shows how society just struggles to categorize something that defies all known reality.
And when he does speak, it's always a carefully crafted deflection.
Always. He claims to be an experimental investigator, needing absolute privacy for his urgent and necessary investigations.
And blames his appearance on an accident.
It's plausible, if a bit dramatic. It temporarily satisfies Mrs. Hall, keeps her at bay. But we, the readers, we know there's something far more profound and, frankly, dangerous at play.
Indeed. And that sense of danger really ramps up when his extensive luggage arrives.
Ah, yes, the luggage. This brings us to the scene where we discover what truly preoccupies him. Crates upon crates filled with countless bottles, some ominously labeled poison.
Along with test tubes and a carefully packed balance. It's basically a traveling lab.
It is, which, while supporting his experimental investigator claim, also introduces this potent element of threat. Those poison labels aren't exactly reassuring.
Not at all. And he wastes no time, does he? He immediately sets to work, meticulously pouring liquids completely absorbed.
Totally absorbed. He ignores the messy straw all over the floor, the cold room, even his unread books, which tells you how singular and all-consuming his focus really is.
Then we get our first real glimpse of his violent temperament, the dog incident.
Right, Fear Inside's dog. It bites his hand or leg. The text is a bit ambiguous, but Griffin's reaction is shocking. Just disproportionate violence, kicking the dog away savagely.
It's a stark indicator of his true nature starting to surface. The almost immediate escalation of aggression is chilling.
It really is. And when Mr. Hall, trying to help after the dog incident, barges into the room,
He gets quite the shock.
he does. He's met with a handless arm waving towards him and a face of 3 huge, indeterminate spots on white. Then he's violently struck and thrown out.
It's terrifying, surreal. Leaves Mr. Hall bewildered and injured.
And Fear Inside, who saw the stranger's exposed leg and hand during the dog bite, he muddies the waters even more. He insists the skin was blackness, not pink.
Which feeds right back into that piebald theory among the locals.
Exactly. It's a testament to Wells's skill that he keeps the true nature of the invisibility hidden for so long, letting these bizarre misinterpretations just flourish.
This truly peculiar nature is amplified even more when Mr. Cuss, the local GP, gets involved.
Ugh. Cuss. Driven by scientific curiosity, right? About the bandages and the rumored 1001 bottles. He just can't resist investigating.
He tries to play it cool, though. Uses a pretext.
Yeah, the subscription list for a village nurse. A thin excuse to gain entry. But his real motive is clear. He's a man of science. And this anomaly is just irresistible.
And the stranger, still unnamed to Cuss, he gets agitated, doesn't he? Ranting about a prescription.
Yes, he recounts how a valuable prescription, crucial to his work apparently, was accidentally burned because of a draft from his fireplace. This detail is important. It subtly hints at the immense value he places on his research and the paranoia he feels about anything that might compromise it.
And then comes the moment, the partial unveiling, which is just horrifying for Cuss.
Absolutely horrifying. To illustrate his story about the lost prescription, the stranger pulls his arm from his pocket.
But an empty sleeve.
An empty sleeve. Cuss, terrified, instinctively tries to touch it and feels exactly like hitting an arm. And there wasn't an arm. There wasn't the ghost of an arm.
Can you imagine that shock? The sheer impossibility of it. It just shatters his scientific understanding.
It's an incredible moment of revelation for Cuss and a crucial one for us, the readers. He bolts from the room, leaves the door open, his face white.
And runs straight to the vicar, Mr. Bunting, right?
Yeah.
Who's probably skeptical.
Very skeptical initially, but this sequence firmly establishes that the stranger's peculiarity goes far beyond mere disfigurement or disguise. It's something truly unprecedented, pushing the boundaries of what the villagers and the audience believe possible. Wells is laying the groundwork for a horror that is both physical and, existential.
So the initial mystery of the stranger in Iping quickly unravels, pushing the boundaries of the villagers' understanding and leading them from, idle gossip to genuine terror.
Exactly. He's not just a bizarre character anymore.
No, he's a force of nature about to be unleashed.
Precisely. Wells masterfully uses these early chapters to build tension and foreshadow the coming chaos. The stranger's aggressive insistence on privacy, the violent outbursts, the impossible physical revelations, they all contribute to this growing sense of dread.
Setting the stage for his true nature to be revealed.
And the villagers' theories, criminal, anarchist, piebald, lunatic, they show how much they're struggling to categorize something that completely defies their reality. And in a way...
They're kind of right about the danger part.
Exactly. They sense the danger even if they can't grasp the invisible part yet.
So from those subtle hints and weird encounters, we move pretty rapidly to full-blown pandemonium. We transition now into the full, shocking reveal and the escalation of chaos.
Right. And the first major incident to truly rock Iping is the vicarage burglary.
This is where the unseen becomes actively menacing.
Definitely. It's Whit Monday morning, supposed to be a day for festivities, and Mrs. Bunting wakes up hearing strange sounds in their house.
Not just bumps in the night, specific sounds.
Very specific. She distinctly hears the pad, pad, pad of bare feet, terrifying in itself, and later the unmistakable sounds of drawers opening, papers rustling.
And money being taken, 2-pound tens and half sovereigns.
Precisely. But when the vicar and Mrs. Bunting finally confront their robber, the room appears perfectly empty.
It's the ultimate he's here but he's not here moment. Makes them question their own sanity, surely.
Absolutely. It's a classic poltergeist setup, but with that horrifying twist. The absence of a visible perpetrator makes it far more unnerving.
And things get even wilder, almost comical if it weren't so scary, when the Halls have their own terrifying encounter.
Oh, the furniture scene. Yes, Mr. Hall finds the stranger's door ajar, his room empty, but his clothes and bandages are scattered on the bed and chair. The inn's front door is also unbolted, confirming Griffin's mysterious comings and goings.
But what happens next is just iconic.
It really is. In that supposedly empty room, Mrs. Hall touches the bed, and suddenly the bedclothes just leap up and jump over the rail.
Like something out of a cartoon, but real and terrifying for her.
And then the stranger's hat hops off the bedpost and dashes straight at Mrs. Hall's face. The sponge from the washstand follows.
It's this bizarre mix of horror and absurdity.
Totally. But the ultimate horror, though, comes from the chair.
Right, the charging chair.
After flinging the stranger's clothes aside, a chair literally charges at Mrs. Hall, driving her and Mr. Hall from the room. And it laughs dryly, sounding uncannily like the stranger himself.
That laugh is chilling. Then the door slams and locks itself.
Yeah.
Pure chaos.
It really highlights Wells's genius in making the Invisible Man a truly unsettling figure, menacing but also somehow grotesquely humorous in his actions.
And predictably, the village struggles to make sense of it all, Mrs. Hall thinks.
Spirits, yeah, spirits. While Sandy Wadgers, the blacksmith, suggests witchcraft.
The human mind trying to fit the impossible into a familiar, if supernatural, box.
Always. Later, the muffled stranger eventually reappears, comes downstairs, and slams the parlor door right in their faces, shouting, "Go to the devil!" at Mr. Hall. His temper is clearly on a very short fuse now. His control is slipping.
It makes you wonder, though, why doesn't he just stay hidden? Why engage in such open hostility? These destructive acts.
That's a great point. It really speaks to a deeper psychological unraveling, doesn't it? A shift from careful secrecy to this aggressive self-assertion, almost like he wants them to know he's there even if they can't see him.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the inevitable confrontation, the truly public unveiling.
Indeed. The tension is palpable. Villagers, including Constable Bobby Jaffers, are gathering outside the inn. They're drawn by the mounting rumors and all the strange occurrences.
Mrs. Hall has finally had enough. She confronts the stranger, demands answers.
And he just defiantly declares, "I'll show you." Such a dramatic challenge, isn't it? He's done hiding. He's asserting his newfound power.
And what a horrifying truth he reveals. He removes his palm, revealing a black cavity where his face should be.
Yeah. Then he hands Mrs. Hall his pink nose, the only part that was ever really visible, before ripping off the spectacles, the hat, the whiskers, all the bandages.
A man is no visible thing at all.
Yeah.
Just nothingness.
A terrifying, impossible sight that sends immediate panic through everyone there. It's an iconic moment, truly. The complete and utter shock.
And despite the sheer impossibility, Constable Jaffers, ever the man of duty, he attempts to arrest the Invisible Man for the vicarage burglary.
You've got to admire his nerve, really. But Griffin is not about to be caught. He systematically strips off all his remaining clothes, slippers, socks, trousers, coat, waistcoat, shirt, to become fully invisible again.
And then it's just mayhem.
Complete mayhem. He fights off everyone in this violent, chaotic struggle. He's using bottles of chemicals as weapons, delivering these powerful kicks and blows. This isn't a prank anymore. It's a full-on assault.
He escapes, leaving several villagers, Jaffers, Huckster, Hanfrey, Fix injured, and the whole village of Iping in total disarray.
The revelation of his invisibility is complete, and the villagers are left grappling with this new, terrifying reality. It highlights the sudden, absolute power imbalance, the vulnerability of ordinary people against an unseen force.
And Griffin's choice for such a public, violent unveiling, rather than just slipping away. It reveals his growing arrogance, maybe, a need for control or recognition, even if it's terrifying recognition.
I think so. He's shedding not just his physical disguise, but also any pretense of wanting to live quietly. He's embracing the power and the terror that invisibility grants him. It sets a new, much darker tone for the rest of the story.
The chaos in Iping is just the beginning.
Exactly. It's just a prelude to his reign of terror. It's Wells showing us that raw, immediate societal reaction to the truly inexplicable, forcing people to confront a reality that defies everything they know.
And what a reign it turns out to be. Having escaped Iping, the Invisible Man soon makes his presence felt elsewhere. His reign of terror truly begins, I think, when he stumbles upon an unlikely and very unwilling accomplice, Mr. Marvel.
Ah, poor Marvel. But first, we get that eerie encounter through the eyes of Givens, the amateur naturalist. He's lying out on the downs, thinks he's alone.
And then here's someone coughing and swearing.
Yes. An invisible man coughing, sneezing, and swearing savagely. Gibbon sees nothing, yet the voice is indisputable, speaking with the breadth and variety that distinguishes the swearing of a cultivated man, which is a chilling little detail.
It reinforces Griffin's continued human presence, despite the invisibility, and also his utter frustration. Those small human details make it so unnerving.
They really do. And then we meet Mr. Thomas Marvel, a short, stout, shabby tramp, minding his own business, basically.
Until he hears a voice, thinks he's mad or drunk.
Right, until flints start inexplicably flying through the air around him. That confirms the Invisible Man's terrifying presence pretty quickly.
It's interesting, though, isn't it, Griffin? With all this power, he still needs a human accomplice. Why Marvel, this seemingly insignificant tramp?
Well, on one level, yeah, Marvel is convenient. He's alone, easily intimidated, available. But I think it also highlights a critical vulnerability in Griffin's whole plan. He can't physically interact with the world in many ways without revealing himself, especially when it comes to carrying things like, crucially, his precious notebooks.
Ah, right. So Marvel becomes his unwilling hands, his public face.
Exactly, a reluctant extension of his power. It underscores that even with ultimate invisibility, complete self-sufficiency is basically an illusion. Griffin threatens Marvel with death if he betrays him, cementing this coerced partnership.
So Griffin needs his books back, and he needs a sort of a fall guy. This desperate recruitment sets the stage for a return to Iping.
A place still reeling from his previous visit. The village is divided, right, between belief and disbelief, most people trying to resume their Whit Monday festivities, trying to rationalize the impossible.
But the reality of the Invisible Man quickly reasserts itself. Marvel shows up.
Yeah, agitated, clearly under duress, accompanied by the unseen presence. He's carrying a large bundle wrapped in a blue tablecloth and, importantly, 3 books held together by the vicar's braces.
The vicar's braces. Classic. Mr. Huxter sees Marvel apparently talking to himself, then running with the bundle.
Shouts, "Stop thief!" and is mysteriously just thrown through the air. A swift, brutal confirmation of the Invisible Man's continued presence and power.
Meanwhile, inside the Coach and Horses, Cuss and Bunting are still trying to figure things out. They find what they think are the Invisible Man's diaries.
Written in cipher, among his belongings. But just then, the Invisible Man appears, well, doesn't appear, but is there, and reclaims his books.
You can imagine Griffin's frustration, realizing his valuable research was almost lost again. It seems to push him over the edge.
And that frustration quickly turns into a rampage. Griffin just goes wild through Iping, deliberately causing destruction, kicking and smiting people for the sheer satisfaction of hurting.
It reveals a dark, sadistic streak, doesn't it? Not just practical ends, but sheer malice. Maybe a release of his own psychological torment.
Could be. Marvel, under constant threat, retreats towards Port Stowe with the books and other stolen stuff, warned not to give me the slip again.
And here, we get a crucial glimpse into his identity. The Invisible Man is now explicitly referred to as Griffin.
Right, and he reveals that his secret is out, anticipates it being in the papers. His anonymity is gone. He's now a known public menace, shifting from mysterious stranger to terrifying force.
Griffin's decision to terrorize Iping, even after getting his books back, signals that shift, right? From scientific pursuit to open warfare against society.
Absolutely. His invisibility, initially sought for power and freedom, is now being used for petty revenge and violent domination. He's no longer just a scientist, he's becoming a full-blown villain, a predator preying on an unsuspecting world.
The stakes are definitely rising. The hunt is truly on. Which leads us to our next major turning point. Dr. Kemp and his unwilling involvement.
Right, Marvel, still unkempt and terrified, arrives at Port Stowe with the books. A mariner there is reading a newspaper report about the Invisible Man.
Mentioning Jaffers and that he's at large near Port Stowe. Marvel gets caught.
He does. He tries to deny it, calls it a hoax, but he's visibly terrified. You can feel the growing public awareness and fear spreading.
And the mariner also hears about money traveling without visible agency.
Yes. Confirming that Griffin has been systematically robbing tills and inns, with the money, naturally, ending up in Marvel's pockets. It shows this systematic, albeit small-scale, criminal operation happening under the cover of invisibility, fueled by Griffin's desperation.
And now we meet Dr. Kemp, a cool and methodical scientist living nearby in Burdock.
Initially, Kemp dismisses the early reports of the Invisible Man as nonsense. He's the rational mind resisting the fantastical.
A man of logic. His world is about to be shattered.
Oh, completely. It's a classic Wellesian setup. the rational man confronted by the impossible. Kemp soon sees a frantic Marvel running, pursued by an unseen force that finally, terrifyingly, confirms the Invisible Man's presence for him.
Marvel bursts into the Jolly Cricketers pub.
Begging to be locked in, screaming that the Invisible Man will kill him, it's a desperate plea full of raw terror, a clear sign of Griffin's escalating brutality.
The pub becomes a chaotic battleground.
Total chaos. The Invisible Man smashes a window, gets in, fights everyone, yells when his foot is stepped on another humanizing, vulnerable detail, and kicks people. He escapes, taking the money from Marvel.
But Marvel manages to hide the books.
Yes. In a moment of cunning, or maybe sheer panic, Marvel hangs on to the 3 scientific books. This is critical because these books, containing Griffin's coded research, hold the key to his entire existence. They are vital to Griffin.
More than money, more than immediate escape.
Much more. They're the repository of his life's work, the method to his madness. And then, in a truly shocking turn, Griffin makes his dramatic appearance at Kemp's house.
Kemp finds blood on his bed, then bandages a blood-stained sheet.
And then a bandaged arm speaks, declaring, "I'm an invisible man."
Yeah.
The sheer shock for Kemp, who just ridiculed the idea, must be immense.
And the voice identifies himself as Griffin, a former university acquaintance of Kemp's.
This connection is crucial. It grounds Griffin's fantastic story in a recognizable past. He's not just some random monster. Griffin is wounded, in pain, feverish, exhausted, desperately hungry.
He demands food, drink, and insists on Kemp's help. Reveals he needs a partner.
Right, to continue his work and ensure his survival. Griffin's desperation to find a partner, particularly a fellow scientist like Kemp, really underscores the profound isolation and practical difficulties of his invisibility.
He can commit crimes, sow terror, but he can't survive alone.
Exactly, especially with his secret out. His reliance on someone else reveals this fundamental vulnerability despite his immense power. He's a scientific genius, yes, but also deeply flawed and increasingly alone. This isn't the absolute freedom he envisioned. It's a desperate, hunted existence.
Absolutely, a stark contrast to that initial dream.
Mm-hmm.
Let's delve into the Invisible Man's true nature and demise. This is where Griffin finally lays bare the scientific journey that led him here.
Yeah, we finally get Griffin's full explanation delivered in this feverish, almost manic confession to Kemp. He explains he abandoned medicine for physics, became fascinated by light and this concept of optical density.
His core idea was revolutionary, wasn't it? Lowering the refractive index of matter to match air, making it transparent.
Exactly. It sounds incredibly complex, and it is. Think of it simply. When light passes through different materials, air, water, glass, it bends. That bending is related to the refractive index.
Okay.
So if you can make something's refractive index the same as air, light literally passes through it as if nothing's there. It doesn't bend, doesn't reflect.
Make it invisible.
Precisely. Griffin's genius and ultimate tragedy was figuring out how to do that for living tissue. By manipulating the optical density, how much the tissue slows down or bends light to match the air, he essentially became a perfect living void to light waves.
It's astounding. But his motivation was deeply personal, wasn't it?
Very much so. As a shabby, poverty-struck, hemmed-in demonstrator, teaching, as he put it, fools in a provincial college, he saw invisibility as a path to mystery, power, and freedom.
It wasn't just about the science. It was escape.
It was escape, and it was about gaining ultimate control over a world he felt had held him down. This motivation is key. It highlights that human desire for transformation, but also the dangerous allure of unchecked power.
He proved his theory first on wool.
White wool, yes, made it invisible. Then he experimented on a cat. That only partially succeeded its claws, and the tapetum, the reflective pigment in its eyes, remained visible.
Appeared as 2 little ghosts of her eyes.
Creepy.
Very creepy. He later chloroformed it and put it out, still invisible. But that partial success just spurred him on, pushed him closer to the ultimate, most dangerous experiment. Himself.
And the human experiment sounds truly harrowing. He talks about his desperate financial situation in London, facing eviction. Right, from his lodging in Great Portland Street. And in an act of chilling foresight, he mailed his valuable scientific notebooks, the 3 books Marvel ends up with, and his checkbook to a remote post office, just in case things went wrong.
Then the process itself. Racking anguish, sickness, and fainting.
A moment of profound physical and psychological torment. He describes his body slowly vanishing. Hands like clouded glass, then bones, arteries, nerves, until only the dead tips of the fingernails and an acid stain remained visible for a while.
He was weak, hungry, struggling to control his unseen body.
And in his desperation to prevent discovery and cover his tracks, he smashed all his apparatus and then fired the house, set it ablaze.
Those desperate, ruthless acts really mark a turning point, showing his utter disregard for others, his descent into moral bankruptcy for his ambition.
Absolutely. And his initial journey into invisibility wasn't the glorious triumph he imagined at all. It was a plunge into a whole new set of terrifying disadvantages.
He mentions that initial wild impulse to jest, to startle people, in Oxford Street.
Yeah, but he quickly learns the profound downsides. And this is where Wells gets really interesting, showing the practical problems. This immediate physical vulnerability, despite his immense power, offers a crucial insight.
That true freedom isn't just about being unseen.
Right. It's about being able to integrate, to pursue goals beyond mere survival. Griffin's power paradoxically forces him into even greater isolation and vulnerability. He's constantly at the mercy of the elements in human perception. He's naked, cold, freezing. Dogs can smell him.
Immediately aware of his presence.
And dirt accumulates on his skin, making him gradually visible if he's not careful. Even the most basic things become a threat.
Like the footmarks incident.
Exactly. His muddy, barefoot marks on whitened steps in Russell Square reveal his presence to some urchins, leading to this frantic chase until he manages to rub his feet clean. Invisibility, he learns fast, isn't a simple fix. It's a constant, exhausting battle against the physical world.
He also faces significant loss, sees his lodging burning, all his equipment, clothes, notes gone, except the mail books.
Which forces him to seek shelter in that large department store, Omnium's. He hides among mattresses, planning to steal clothes and food after closing.
He manages it, gets clothes and food, but gets discovered anyway.
Yeah, and has to strip naked again to escape a frantic chase through the store. This constant need to discard his clothes is a huge practical drawback, forcing him into repeated acts of theft and violence just to exist.
So his grand scientific achievement forces him into this ridiculous, almost pathetic disguise.
It does. He realizes the desperate need for a disguise and enters a theatrical costumier shop in Drury Lane. There, he confronts and knocks out the hunchback owner with a stool to prevent being described later. Ruthless.
And assembles his costume. The grotesque mask, dark glasses, whiskers, wig, various garments, finds some money too. It's a far cry from the power and freedom he dreamed of.
It leads him to this ultimate realization of helpless absurdity. He discovers all the profound disadvantages. He can't eat without becoming temporarily visible where the food is. He can't enjoy fame, can't form relationships. He's constantly vulnerable to weather and dirt.
He came to Iping hoping to reverse the process, right? Regain visibility and control.
Yes, but found only further frustration. Griffin's early exploits really demonstrate that scientific achievement, no matter how profound, it just cannot override basic human needs and social realities. His disillusionment underscores that power. Without the ability to enjoy its fruits or connect with others is just a hollow victory. It drives him towards a more desperate and ultimately malevolent path.
Which brings us to the terrifying climax. Griffin, completely unhinged now, proposes that horrifying plan to Kemp.
The Reign of Terror. Establish it in Burdock, issue orders, kill anyone who disobeys. It's pure megalomania.
He's moved way beyond science or even petty revenge now. He wants absolute power through fear, using invisibility as the ultimate weapon for total control.
But Kemp, horrified, finally acts. He contacts Colonel Adie, the chief of Burdock Police. Griffin senses Kemp's treachery almost immediately.
Tries to escape by disrobing again.
But Kemp slams the door and locks him in. This is pivotal. Griffin's attempt to find a partner backfires spectacularly, leading directly to his undoing.
And the heart begins in earnest. Adie mobilizes the police, the whole countryside. Kemp, now fully invested in stopping him, suggests using dogs.
Hiding all weapons, scattering powdered glass on roads to track him by cutting his feet. Desperate, almost brutal measures.
It highlights the extreme danger Griffin poses and the lengths society has to go to protect itself from this invisible threat.
And tragically, Griffin's rage turns deadly. Enraged by Kemp's betrayal, he murders Mr. Wicksteed, a local steward, with an iron rod. The text suggests Wicksteed might have just unwittingly attacked the moving rod, mistaking it for something inanimate.
But it doesn't matter how it happened, really. This murder marks Griffin's full descent. He's a killer now. His initial ambition completely twisted into pure malevolence.
His rampage continues with the siege of Kemp's house. He sends Kemp that chilling, threatening letter. Death starts for him today.
Then smashes Kemp's windows, ambushes and disarms Colonel Adie, and just systematically destroys Kemp's house. It's pure, unbridled fury and revenge against the man who dared to betray him.
The scene turns into this desperate chase. Kemp escapes his burning house, fleeing through the streets of Burdock, pursued by the Invisible Man.
But the hunter soon becomes the hunted.
Yes. A crowd, including navvies and policemen, joins the chase. It's like society finally uniting against this unseen menace. Griffin is eventually struck down by a navvy spade, a crude weapon, but effective against an invisible force you can finally locate.
And then, the ultimate ironic consequence. He's subdued, crying mercy. And as he dies,
His body slowly reappears. The description is so striking. A young man about 30, his hair and beard were white, and his eyes were like garnets. His expression one of anger and dismay.
visibility returns only in death, robbing him of his last defense, making him tragically visible just as his power fades forever. His body is covered and carried into the Jolly Cricketers pub, a grim trophy.
Griffin's demise is such a tragic end for a brilliant but utterly twisted mind. That final visibility, revealing him as this young man prematurely aged, white hair, those strange garnet eyes, it emphasizes the physical toll and the unnatural horror of his experiment.
And the anger and dismay on his face. It suggests not remorse, but furious regret at his own failure, right? A final moment of defiance against the world that rejected him.
I think that's exactly it. And then we come to the epilogue. It circles back, surprisingly, to Mr. Thomas Marvel,
Who, after all that chaos, has improbably become the landlord of an inn near Port Stowe, and he possesses Griffin's 3 invaluable scientific notebooks.
full of wonderful secrets. It's a fascinating twist, isn't it? Marvel, the simple tramp, becomes the unwitting keeper of this incredibly dangerous knowledge.
He looks at them sometimes, tries to decipher them.
Yeah, occasionally pulls one towards him, turns over the pages in their cipher, musing things like hex, little 2 up in the air, cross, and a fiddle-dee-dee. Lord, what a one he was for intellect. He dreams of the power they hold, maybe fantasizes about using them.
But he never does.
Never does. He ensures the secret of invisibility remains hidden, protecting humanity, perhaps, from another such menace. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Is Marvel's choice a reflection of wisdom, or simply a lack of ambition, or maybe just an inability to understand the book's true, terrifying potential?
It leaves us with a provocative thought about knowledge itself and the responsibility that comes with it. A truly fitting end.
A fantastic, thought-provoking end to a story that just keeps us questioning the nature of power, morality, and what it truly means to be seen or unseen in the world.
And there you have it. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us in this story. If you enjoyed it, a simple like or subscribe helps the channel out more than you know.
It really does. Be good and take care.